to the MTG DAO project.
Yeah, I'm ready.
A warm welcome to the Welcome Talk community. I'm Glenn, your host. Today we have joining us MTG DAO, and Slick Rick's here to speak about the project. MTG is a true deflationary token with a unique game theory with a built-in reward system that incentivizes on-chain transactions. We'll go into the project and everything else about it shortly. But first, Slick Rick, can you give us your background and experience?
Yeah, of course. I myself started in crypto back in 2017, and my experience, my expertise is marketing. But when I started crypto, I kind of started diving more into that world. And over the years, I've met some interesting people and some really good people, and made quite a few friends. And some of those friends are actually part of the team for the MTG. And we were lucky enough that some of those people had connections with DAOmaker, and we managed to get our pre-sale with them.
Okay, great, Slick Rick. Thanks for the introduction. So maybe we can have an introduction to the MTG DAO project for the community investors today.
Of course. So MTG is quite a simple token and utility, right? We call ourselves a meme coin, but we call ourselves the meme coin of an actual utility from day one. And the utility in itself will simply be 1% burn of every transaction you make, and 1% goes into a raffle pot in which 10 random winners are selected every week based on the amount of transactions we made. And that's actually mostly it. Yep.
Okay, great, Slick Rick. Can we go into the MTG burn mechanism, some more details around that, how it works?
Okay, of course, yeah. So when it comes to every transaction you make, whether it's an on-chain transaction or buy, sell, anything like that, you will basically make the token deflation. It's basically our in-between mechanism of making a token deflationary, right? And 1% of that burns the supply, makes it deflationary, which means hypothetically will grow the token price in itself. So we basically incentivize people to actually increase the velocity of the token transactions.
That's great, Slick Rick. So yeah, you're supporting the price floor and it's rising as the token there, is more and more deflation added to the token. That's great for investors. And can we go into the MTG raffle mechanism, how that works as well?
Absolutely. Another 1% goes into the raffle system as well, which we already actually have our demo for it. And basically the raffle system is you can connect your wallet in there, your main wallet with MTG. And from there you can see as many transactions as you have and as many tickets as you got, which could potentially increase your chances of winning the raffle.
Okay, awesome. And I'm seeing that you're going to be launching on the DAO Maker. That's a top 200 market cap company, and they've been supporting MTG, and you'll be the first token to launch using DAO Maker's baby token minter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we will not only be the first to use DAOmaker's baby token minter, we're also the first meme token ever incubated by DAOmaker. So that's actually quite a big deal for us since we're the leading launchpad in this space.
I see, Slick Rick. And you've got an airdrop offer as well for investors. How does that work? How can you get involved?
Right. The airdrop is actually one of our incentives in terms of creating loyal communities. So the way you can enter the airdrop is quite simple. You can go into our Telegram chat, and in there, our bot will ask you for your Twitter handle, ask you for a wallet, and then it will give you one task. That task is you, let's say, follow us on Twitter. That gives you 10 points. 10 points equal 10 MTG tokens. So once you are in the chat, more and more tasks will be given to you. So whether it is, create a meme that has to do with the project, or it could be as well just retweeting or liking or commenting on an important tweet of ours, could be a bug report, could be a scammer report, it could be just being active and helping new community members. You'll be given points by our administrator, and those points will be accumulated. And once those points are accumulated to the point where we'll do the airdrop, you will get that much MTG compared to the points that you have.
Okay, great. And have you been building up partnerships around MTG DAO?
Partnerships, yeah, we have some partnerships with some influencers, right? They're actually quite nice. They're actually quite good. One of them is quite well known. His name is Shib Knight on Twitter, right? And we have some other ones as well in there. We have, let's say, Blockchain Boy is one of them, and some other big ones in there, and also some other small ones, which help us a lot. Other partnerships in itself, we're still solidifying in terms of partnerships with other projects. We actually in talks with some other actually well-known meme projects to be able to create some kind of ecosystem within.
Awesome, Slick. And is it a governance token? I take it because you've got the DAO attached to the MTG. And what type of DAO are you using? Is it based on how many tokens you hold to how many votes you get?
Yeah. So basically, it's the DAO in itself, right? It's something that we chose in itself for just the name, right? Because it's MTG DAO, which comes from DAO Maker, right? So basically, because we're incubated by them and we're using the baby, basically the baby token minter, we include the MTG DAO for it. But you could say that the randomized raffle could be seen as a kind of DAO.
I see. And I think you've got a public round and that's live at the moment. What's the minimum maximum contribution? How can investors get involved?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have our public pre-sale is happening on DAO Maker right now. There's two types of pre-sales on DAO Maker. There's the public strongholder offering. That's how they call their pre-sales. And there's the DAO strongholder offering. So the public strongholder offering actually started last week on the 5th, right? You need to register for it, and contribution will start on the 11th, if I believe, this week. So in about 2 days, contribution will start.
Is there a minimum maximum contribution?
Oh, sorry. I forgot to answer that part. Yeah, basically, the maximum amount of contribution is $500, and the minimum amount of contribution is $50. No, it's quite simple. For registering for it, all you need to do is go on DAO Maker, go on our page on DAO Maker, so DAOmaker.com/MTG. If you go in there, all you need to do is click participate and then connect your wallet, and you will be in the DAO Maker system. And then once contribution comes along, we'll let everybody know, announce on every single channel, and as well as DAO Maker will do the same. And then you can just click contribute and then contribute.
Awesome, Slick Rick. And what's the timeline for launch and what's planned around the first quarter, building up the project? What utility are you attaching to it as you go forward in the future?
Right. So for launching itself, we're aiming for next week. Right, we're waiting for the pre-sale to be over, both pre-sales, and as well as we have been in talks with some centralized exchanges, and we are trying to solidify a concrete date that we'll be able to announce everything, centralized exchanges, PancakeSwap, etc.
I see, Slick Rick. And go ahead.
No, sorry. Sorry, I took a sip of water. And yeah, and in regards of the utility itself, right now the main utility is the deflationary utility in the raffle system. We have actually had conversations among ourselves and the DAO Maker team to create new utilities. However, that's a little bit more within the future, right? First, we want to solidify this community, this everything, and make sure that everybody can be happy.
Okay, awesome, Slick Rick. And going back to the raffle, how does it work for investors and how often is it drawn?
The raffle is every week, right? So as many transactions as you do, right, of MTG, you get one ticket, right? You get a ticket for each transaction, and then once the week is over, you will see if you won or not. Basically, the winners will be announced. Everything will be on our DApp, right, on our platform, and you'll be able to see as many transactions you made. You'll be able to see your wallet there. There will be a leaderboard showing as well how many people have won most of the transactions, or how many people have won the most of the tickets. However, once that's over, it will basically reset itself, so it makes it fair for everybody joining. So you can't just earn 100 tickets and then keep earning those 100 tickets for the next week. Actually, you'll go back to zero. So then everybody will be able to have a chance.
Okay, great, Slick Rick. And is it 10 winners each week then? And it's randomly, how is it randomly generated?
It's randomly generated through our algorithm. It's not done manually. It's actually done automatically. And yes, it's 10 winners every single week, 10 random wallets every week.
I see. And is it in the token, or is it in BUSD or
It's
another stablecoin?
in the token.
Okay, awesome. And sort of based on the volume, how much do you think the 10 investors could get each week?
That all depends on the community. That actually all depends on the community in itself, right? Like I said, like one the main utility is the 1% burn part. So of burning the total supply, making it deflationary. So basically, the more transactions you make, whether that would be an on-chain transaction, let's say you send MTG from one wallet to another, right? That's considered a transaction. If you send it and if you buy, sell, whatever, that's also considered a transaction, right? So what we're trying to do here is actually create a community that's actually incentivized to keep active, right? Which in turn, let's say the raffle system, let's say, okay, sorry, let me choose the proper words here. Okay, so the raffle system encourages you to stay a little bit more active, stay more active in terms of the transactions, and then which in turn, those transactions will end up burning MTG, while also possibly increasing their accumulation, right, of MTG, right? In which case, basically, the deflationary utility of these raffle winners would be worth more, right? That's the deflationary system. That's a deflationary like theory, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to increase our holders to get a bigger percentage of their already said holdings, while using a smaller percentage to attempt to win the raffles, creating a cycle of holders who also are able to increase the velocity of the token transactions and their bag.
I see, Slick Rick. And what's the marketing plans going forward? How are you planning to promote the project, say, over the first quarter? It's a big platform you're launching on there with the DAO maker for the future. So what's planned
Right.
around the marketing?
Well, the marketing process so far is there's the partnerships, like I mentioned to you about, but it's also the cross-platform, right? For both Twitter and Telegram, possibly creating a Discord as well, possibly creating other Telegram communities in other languages, such as Chinese or Russian, any other language that we see a big demand on. We have been using quite big KOLs within the meme industry, and we have done partnerships, quite a few of them as well. The airdrop campaign is another marketing tool, but a big one is also our inbuilt point system within the Telegram, right? So right now we are using the point system for the airdrop, and we are also used it for the top 50 point earners to earn whitelist. But the point system won't stop once everything is launched and the airdrop is done. The point system will still be used for completing tasks, and those tasks will be basically involved with events that we create. Right, so that makes the community still be active. That makes the community still be loyal, while also we'll be using all these other events, all these KOLs, all these other partnerships that we have to increase the marketing and increase the community itself.
Okay, great, Slick Rick. And what's the tokenomics breakdown for community investors? Have been so much put aside for airdrops and the pre-sale and the private sale.
Right. So tokenomics itself, I mean, so basically the token price for pre-sale is 0.0012, so it's less than 1 cent, right? Our total supply is 1 billion. Our initial market cap is 1.2 million, and excuse me, and basically in terms of the tokenomics in itself as well. Sorry, I actually confused something there. Our project valuation is 1.2 million. That's actually my bad. The initial market cap is 196,000. And there is a vesting schedule for it. From our public sale, people will get 33% at TGE, 33% on month 4, and 33% on month 10. And then that will be all the supply of actually MTG there.
Awesome, Slick Rick. And the burn mechanism, going back to that, I was wondering how much you're planning to burn. Is it going to stop at a certain amount, 20%, 30%? What's planned Is there a maximum amount for the token?
There is an amount that we're considering right now, but we are still in talks to see. We just want to see first how big of an impact it will have, right? So we actually have several amounts. DAOmaker has advised us to just basically keep an eye on everything, and they will do the same as well since we're incubated by them, and it'd be very helpful. And then we'll basically review, let's say, the amount in itself when time comes.
With it being a low buy and sell tax, is it just 1%? You were saying, are you looking to push it out to central exchanges in the future?
Yeah, we are trying to get in. Have been in talks to centralized exchanges as well, right? And yes, we will be pushing that into centralized exchanges too.
Okay, great. Let's open it up to community investor questions. Let's see. Syed, you had a question first. Slick Cricket, MTG DAO. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Cliff. Okay, so you mentioned that you will be using your own algorithm for determining or finding or drawing the lucky winner through randomness. So I just want to understand that why haven't you decided to use Chainlink VRF system as most lost lottery platforms are using this system for more transparency?
Why? Well, we didn't decide necessarily to use the Chainlink system. We decided to base our system close enough to Chainlink in itself, right? This was developed by our developers and has been checked by not only DAOmaker, but also their connections in terms of the code for it. So we were basing over just simply the idea of them, but the transparency in itself, it will be able to be seen, right? For example, for the raffle, you'll be able to see the transparency right there. Every day, every week, there will be the leaderboard, and there will also be every raffle that's been won from the past. So you can see how many winners actually have been there and how much they get and everything, how many tickets we had and so on.
Okay, understood. Okay, I was also wondering that will the lottery distribution going to be in MTG token or BNB or BUSD?
Yeah, you'll be using MTG token.
Okay, got it. I also want to know that will same user be able to register multiple wallets for the lottery as well?
No, you can register multiple wallets if you want, of course, right? But you got to keep in mind that you only earn the tickets by doing transactions, right? So if you register several wallets, you might do several transactions. Yes, you might win, but then again, you might still actually lose some money itself. So what we recommend is connecting one main wallet that will participate into this, and then make the transactions from there. But even then, of course, if you just bring your holdings to zero, you aren't sure if you're going to win or not. So that's how we keep away from people trying to bot it or people trying to basically game the system. Because even though you could have 100 raffle tickets, right, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win. This increases your chances, but it doesn't mean that you will win.
Understood. Thank you so much for answering. Over to you, Glenn.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for the question, Syed. Let's move to Aisha. You had a question first, Slick Cricket, MTG DAO. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. I've read that all a user need to do is move their tokens. The more often users transact and higher their transaction value is, the more likely they will be selected as one of the 10 winning wallets. I want to understand how will transaction value be calculated? I mean, will buy token going to contribute more towards the transaction volume as compared to transferring tokens between various wallets? How will that work? And how will this going to be determined?
Okay, so it's kind of like I mentioned before, right? Yes, you can make on-chain transactions from wallet to wallet, and that will get you more tickets. You can do one MTG or do 100 MTG. That's still considered as just one ticket, right? But the thing is, also selling it and buying it is also considered a transaction, right? So that will give you more. That will give you more tickets. That will give you tickets as well. So we don't recommend only doing on-chain transactions, right? Because then the gas fees you might pay might end up, actually not being worth it doing that way. That's why we say that buy and selling and making a profit and things like that will also count as a ticket. So we don't necessarily recommend only just transferring from wallet to wallet all the time, because eventually because of the 1% burn, and then 1% goes to the raffle, you most likely you might end up with nothing.
Got it. I've also read that users can move tokens to gamble and earn, and also increase their transaction volume. I was thinking, will you also going to have your own online gambling platform to gamble and earn? And what gambling games will be available?
Right. Well, and that's actually a very good question, right? This is something that we'll be talking about a lot with the team and with DAOmaker, right? The raffle system would probably be our first game, and then eventually we'll start creating other games. We already have on the whiteboard some games that we're thinking of. Some of them based on Crash Game, for example, which was quite popular last year. Our own version of it, but right now this is for the future, right? Right now we want to concentrate on this and building the community and getting the token price to go up like everybody else, right? So yes, what you're saying, it's kind of over there, but we wouldn't really say it's a gambling platform. We will just be creating games where you can profit out of it rather than lose everything.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you so much for answering.
Further questions? Have a nice day.
Thanks for the questions, Asia. Let's move to Venice. You had a question for Slick Rick. Go ahead.
Yeah, Glenn, thank you so much. Actually, I have few questions regarding tokenomics. While I was going through your tokenomics, one concern I see is that the relatively high percentage of the total supply that is allocated to the team and marketing partners. I think this would be seen as potentially diluting the value of the tokens held by other stakeholders, as a large supply of tokens will be competing for the same level of demand. Also, the initial market cap of $196,000 may be seen as low compared to the fully diluted valuation of $120,000, which could potentially lead to low liquidity and difficulty in buying and selling the tokens.
Right. I mean, yes, I understand your question, but what you got to understand as well is that valuation and market cap are two different things. They're quite similar, but they're still quite different as well, right? Now, in terms of the team tokens in itself, the team will only receive the tokens much, much later than everybody else, right? We will not receive, and those tokens are not necessarily for us to, spend and go to the Bahamas like SBF. You actually be spent on the product in itself, right? For example, 40% of it will go to liquidity from from everything as well, and 3% will go to the KOLs actually, right? 25% goes to the DAO round because 25% is for the people that join the pre-sale actually. So I understand where your concern is. However, when it comes to actually the team getting the tokens, we'll get it 4 months later after the community gets it, right? And the community will actually get it on the same day, 4 months later.
Yeah, I understand that. And one more thing, the allocation of 40% of the total supply for liquidity purposes, it may be seen as a large percentage, which could lead to potential downward pressure on the price of the tokens if the liquidity is not absorbed by the market. So how
Yep.
would you take this concern?
That's mostly for buybacks, right? In hopes of maintaining the price. So that will only necessarily be used if it needs to be used.
Okay, understood. Thank you. Thank you so much for answering my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you for the questions, Venice. Let's move to Western Beast. You had a question for Slick Rick. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. Okay, so my first question is that when you made mention of strongholders that has a countdown of about 2 days and counting down, are you referring to the context here? Is it primarily referring to long-term holders or large buyers or both of them?
Right. So the stronghold offering on DAOmaker, it's their take on basically IDOs, pre-sales, anything like that, right? It's what actually have made them quite successful. But it's the rules have changed over the years, right? And in the beginning, it was called strongholder offering, which basically rewards holders. Right now is a bit different. Right now it's randomized. However, there are things that could potentially make you have a higher wallet score, right? If you click participate on our IDO, you'll see your wallet score. That's determined through the minimum that you hold, of course, right? Well, but in itself, right? From if we're gonna go by old DAO maker rules, it would also their algorithm would basically analyze your habits, right? If you're a holder, if you're a dumper, if you're a flipper, things like that. The point of that, and the point of why DAO maker does that, is so they actually create a strong community that won't just make the token tank. Doesn't mean necessarily that your participation, you might not win. However, the reason why they used to do that, and the reason why it's called strongholder offering, the point of that back in the day was to reward people who actually are a strong community for the token, meaning that the token wouldn't necessarily go down, and make people happy.
That's actually a wonderful concept now that I think about it.
Mhm.
It sounds good, sounds reasonable. The next thing that caught my attention was the fact that you could actually connect your wallet,
Mhm.
while it is also an avenue to sign up and log in separately and using an email and a password. This looks like a perk in itself, but I'd like you to explain why is it that there's two different ways of signing up. Couldn't the person's wallet be his unique identifier? What is the need for the name? Is there some sort of KYC involved?
Right. Okay. So for signing up for registering, there is no such thing as KYC. The reason why they ask for your email is simply because it's another avenue to let you know when to contribute, right? And it's also another avenue to let you know some other things. So for example, when like you said, you click participate, and if you don't have like an account with DAOmaker, right, it will ask you for either your email or your Twitter. I recommend putting your email, simply because sometimes when it comes to DAOmaker, right, sometimes their offerings go on for longer than ours do, right? Sometimes some of them could go for about, like, we right now we're going for, I would say, 5 days. Some of them can go for like a week, maybe a little bit more. So some people might just simply forget, right? They click participate, and they might forget when it comes to the time of contributing. So when it comes to the time of contributing, you simply get an email from DAOmaker, and you will say, hey, the pre-sale registration is over. Now it's time to contribute. And then you can go and contribute. It's just simply another avenue to remind you, in case you don't necessarily have time to look on Telegram or have time to look on our announcements on Twitter, so on and so forth.
They reach you guys through this email?
Sorry?
Can they reach Delmaker through the email?
You can reach DAOmaker for their support. If you let's say you answer back to this email, they won't necessarily get it. It's an email that you can necessarily answer to it, right?
All right. Thank you very much for the
Thank you.
answers to the questions. I wish you guys the best, and I hope that the project stays bullish onward. Over to you, Glenn.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the questions, Western Beast. We're running out of time today, but for any investors that have joined the call late, maybe we can do a recap, Slick Rick, on the MTG DAO project.
Absolutely. So MTG DAO is, we like to call it the true deflationary token, right? We also like to call it the first meme token with an actual utility on day one. And its main utilities are, right as of now, 1% burn for each transaction you make of the total supply, which makes the token deflationary, and another 1% goes into a raffle pot, in which you can win, possibly win a raffle every week. 10 winners are chosen randomly. Another thing as well, we do have our airdrop still ongoing. So if you would like to participate on that, is just very simple. You can just go on our Telegram, and on that Telegram, you complete the capture by giving a part of that caption is giving the wallet that you would like to receive your airdrop into our bot, and then you can earn points by doing some tasks, and those points will equate to 1 MTG each point. So 1 point equal 1 MTG. And if you also participate in a pre-sale, please use the same wallet, because then you'll be absolutely eligible for the airdrop.
Okay, great, Slick Rick. Thanks very much for the recap there at the end. And it's been great speaking to you today from the MTG DAO project. I really like the burn mechanism and the raffle mechanism. As we say, welcome talks for research and educational purposes. We recommend the community investors check out the website, the white paper. And if you have any questions, you can join their official socials. We have the links there in our main chat. And it's been great speaking to you today, Slick Rick.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, Glenn. Thank you very much. Had a great time. Keep the good music going.
Yeah. Thank you for coming down. Take care. I'll finish the record and send over a copy for you to share with your community, and I'll send that into the main chat for our community also.
Thank you very much. Have a good time. Bye-bye.
You too.